Welcome back to the True Rhyme Serial. You never know where we're going to end up. At the minute, we've ended up at the London Bridge. Now, there's a little old nursery rhyme for you. Well, actually, I don't know. It's a crossover. It's a nursery rhyme and a song. Because when I was a kid, we used to sing that song in, wasn't play school, it was kindergarten, I think they used to call it. Now it's early learning, you don't go to kindergarten anymore, you go to early learning. So I guess you're early learning about stuff. So when I was a young fella and I was at kindergarten, I wasn't at early learning, hence the way I didn't learn too much, but we used to sing this song and it was London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down, London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. And we used to dance, well, I don't think we were dancing, we were running around in this little circle, and the two important children, well, I used to think they were important just because they were taller. That's really the whole point. They were tall enough for us to run under their arms because they had to hold their arms up. And when we finished singing the verse, they'd put their arms down. Now, the interesting thing when you're a kid is, if you'd actually worked that crap out, you would have sung a bit slower so you wouldn't be the one that got caught. But we didn't figure that much out. So you'd get caught, you got sat in the corner, and then you had to wait for everybody else to go round and round in circles until eventually everybody got caught. And I'm not really sure how that all finished, but the thing about that I remember is that getting caught sucked and getting through the system was all good. I guess it's like musical chairs, but it's in a circle. The point of the exercise is it was trying to tell a story about what was going on as they were building London Bridge, because when they were building London Bridge back in about 1000 AD, which is a heck of a long time ago, that's what, more than 1,000 years ago, that here we are in 2020. What's that? Anyway, heck, it's a long time ago. They had this theory that if you actually got some children and sacrificed them and built them into the foundations of a bridge or a building or whatever else, it would stand up for a bit longer. I'm not really sure if that's actually, quite how it works in bloody architecture. The interesting thing, I mentioned this to my lovely daughter-in-law the other night when we were trying to do a prelude to this show. And she said, well, that doesn't make any bloody sense at all, sacrificing children to put into a building. Wouldn't it be much better to use an adult? They're much more structurally sound and they would hold things together much better. I mean, look at my lad, look at my hubby John. He would be a really good support to a building. And I'm thinking, I think she missed the point, but it's rather adorable how practical some people can be. Anyway, the London Bridge is Falling Down song has many verses. It talks about all the different stages that London Bridge went through. But we're not going to go into all that because it talks about the clay and the steel and the gold. And if you want to research London Bridge, the whole song, you can get amongst that yourself. The other one that I did like, though, was when they were talking about My Fair Lady, the reference point was not the poor child under the bridge keeping things together. It was actually about a queen. I think it was King Henry VIII's queen, wife thing, one of them. Because hell, he had 8 or 9 or 10 of them. That's a whole nother mess. But anyway, one of the queens that was actually collecting the taxes from the shopkeepers that were on the bridge was meant to be maintaining the bridge with all the money she collected, but she was off living high on the hog and eating blooming cream cakes and doing whatever queens and kings do with all that money. And the poor bloody peasants on the bridge got really pissed off, so they were trying to tell her, the bridge is falling down, you better give us some of that money to support the damn thing. Otherwise, the shops are going to fall into the damn Thames and we're going to have nothing. And that's another option. There is one that's really cool. It's when the Vikings came and attacked England and they tied one of their ships to the bridge. When the tide went out, the Viking ship was hooked to the bridge and pulled the bloody thing over so then they could conquer the city. There's another option for you. You see, this history thing, it's weird. When you've got more than 1,000 years worth of stories all tied up in one song, your brain just goes, which bit of this should I share with you? The thing about this show is, if you come back, we could share this song and it might be something different. If you've stumbled across this show and are quite enjoying yourself, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all those things, because I have this deal going with the producer of the show that if I get 50,000 subscribers, I'm allowed to wear a hat because we'll be able to afford some lighting that won't shade my eyes. So just to shit him off, subscribe.